And now here are Robert Young, Jane Wyatt, Lauren Chapin, Eleanor Donahue, and Billy Gray as Bud, the future drug addict, in Father Knows Best, which I believe Rick Kaempfer is the inspiration for the title of your tome, Father Knows Nothing.
That's right. It's the opposite of that show.
Exactly. He was the guy who would go on to be Marcus Welby, the doctor who knew best, but you're the father who is a fumbler, right?
Did you look up those names, or did you know those off the top?
That's all I know.
Okay.
That's all I know is TV shows from the 1950s and 60s.
That's good.
No, it's not just TV shows. I mean, frankly, nothing that happened after 77.
That's pretty late, actually.
Right, 73.
Southside Hitmen? Yeah, I remember that. That's about it. So, Rick, tell us, regale us with a few anecdotes. I could point you in the direction of some in your book. For example, and by the way, you could have called this book "My Three Sons." I guess.
I could have, yes.
Yeah. Would you like me to tell you who starred in that? Fred MacMurray and Stanley Livingston. And do you know that Fred MacMurray shot that all the scenes to that show like in 2 days, and then he would leave, and then they'd have to shoot the episodes around him?
I did not know that.
Rick, how are you enjoying Bruce's interviews and such?
Fantastic.
I love that show, though.
So your kid
Yes.
is a little kid. And he's picking a fight, or somebody picked a fight with him, and he has to fight, and you're the dad, and you are torn.
Yeah, so you've read the story. So there is a story in there where one day my son, Johnny, was my middle son, came home and said, I got to do my homework quickly because I've got to fight at 4 o'clock. The usual.
Busy. Yeah.
But he was picked on at school, and somebody threatened him with a fight, and so he just assumed he had to go. And I knew that if I didn't let him go, that then he would then be chastised as the kid who didn't show up to the fight, right? And then I knew that if I let him go, he would be pounded because this kid was twice his size. So I didn't know what to do. I actually went with him to the fight and then stayed a short distance away just to make sure that I was not also known as the dad who came to protect his son. And the greatest thing happened. The other kid didn't show up.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. That's great.
So that he had street cred at school.
Exactly.
And you were Father of the Year.
I was.
Let him...
It's the only thing I ever did right. I included one story in here just so people
all right,
know.
and tell us
stumbled into
I did.
Yeah, that's navigating fatherhood as best as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Tell us the many other times that it just turned out disastrous, as it has for all of us.
Well, so when my youngest son was 3 years old, that's when I was put in charge of these children. Now, if you know anything about my background, I was a radio producer, wacky writer.
Sure.
And then suddenly I'm a stay-at-home dad. Radio and I broke up.
Exactly.
You grew up, became an adult.
I became an adult.
I've had radio break up with me before, but I'm always coming back.
That's right.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was put in charge of these kids, and my wife went to work, and I was at home with the boys, and I didn't have any idea what to do. And the 3-year-old was the challenge, right? So
did you consult with a Michael Keaton movie, for example?
I did watch that movie, actually, and that really wasn't very helpful.
No.
Batman?
Yeah.
Why?
See, that's why I watched the wrong one.
Yeah, right.
But this kid one day figured out how to unbuckle his car seat and jumped into the front seat and took a dime and stuck it into the CD player while I was driving. So that,
it's a jukebox.
Yeah.
You needed to get him the Maggie Simpson, steering wheel so he could drive along with you.
I should have done that, but that cost $1,200.
$1,200.
Yeah.
Plus the dime.
Right.
Yeah.
$1,210.
It's a lot of dough.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There was another time when we were having a family party, and all of a sudden somebody knocked on the door and said, "Anybody missing a kid?" Oh, I didn't notice. He was gone. He was all the way down the street.
Yeah, but the other two were accounted for.
That's
not bad.
That's why we have extras.
Why don't you should have the buddy system. Like on a field trip.
We should. But 3-year-olds don't really understand the buddy system.
They don't understand the buddy
system. Don't you do like what I see these daycare centers do now all the time, where you've got them all tied together and you just pull a cord?
It's so
I used to
scary.
be horrified by that.
Or a leash.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I never used it. But.
Did you ever see the what's the family show? Modern Family.
Yeah.
Where they put the girl on the leash, but they got her. They were at Disney World, and they got her the princess shoes that she wanted, but they were high heels, so she could only move around real slowly. So it was a win-win for them.
Yes,
you ever
yeah.
thought about putting your boys in high heels?
I never
Okay,
tried that.
okay.
I should have. I'm taking notes.
Now,
There
so
we go.
the purpose of this book then was to exact your vengeance on them,
Well,
so that
it's-
they're embarrassed later in life when
Well-
they read this. Well, I guess your one son is almost 20 years old now.
Yeah, I've got one in college already, so that it is kind of.
What
like
happens
that.
when he gets into a fight? Do you still go there? And,
Yeah, if he
try
gets
to
into
do
a
it?
fight, he's in big trouble because he weighs about 112 pounds.
Wow.
But
Wow. Well, the book is called Father Knows Nothing by Rick Kaempfer. How can they go there? Get this.
it's
book?
at
Excuse me.
eckhartzpress.com, ECKHARTZ press.com, and it's also at fatherknowsnothing.com.
Okay.
It'll be out as an ebook later this week, Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Would you like Dan to read it on tape for you?
Sure. Yeah,
Yes,
I'd be happy to
go
do
ahead.
that.
Do your
Well-
you kind of like your Aflac duck minimalist.
Here's one thing
yeah.
I just wanted to point out
Yeah.
in the book jacket, that this is actually endorsed. He's got a quote from an actual funny personality
Really?
in Chicago,
Yeah.
Jeff Hoover. Jeff Hoover.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
that
Although,
Jerry Lewis
funny story
impersonator
about
alone.
that, I had to change it at the last minute because he compared me to Bill Cosby in his original.
Ooh.
Oh my good. Well, Bill
Yeah,
Cosby's a good dad.
Oh, yeah. Great
Let's
dad.
separate the wheat from the chaff there. Okay.
So I
Yeah.
decided not to put that on the back cover of the book.
Totally understood.
Yeah.
Endorsed by Bill Cosby.
That's
Okay.
right.
Here, son, you're the roofies that you get. All right, thank you so much, Rick Kaempfer, for
Thanks for
joining us.
having me.
Father Knows Nothing.